Welcome to Divorcing Strong, the podcast that pulls no punches when it comes to divorce. I'm Becky Sampson, better known as Bulldog Becky Brockovich, and I'm here to give you the straight talk, the strategies, and the subpoena secrets you won't hear anywhere else. With expert guests and proven advice, you'll learn your rights, your options, and gain your power that encourages a fair and equitable outcome. Divorce doesn't have to break you. It can build you. Let's get to it. Well, welcome everybody to another episode of Divorcing Strong podcast. I am your host, Becky Sampson, as always. And okay, so first of all, let me just tell you, I connect every single day with so many amazing people. I say this all the time, but my guest today here, we connected actually a month or so ago, and I felt like we were like best friends immediately. And I want you to know, I bring people on these podcasts, not only that I meet, that I really connect with, and you may even ask yourself sometimes like, oh my gosh, there's so many divorce coaches and therapists and counselors and I do my best to really bring you a lot of different options because everybody's in a different place. I remember when I was in the weight loss business and I met people from all over the place that did very similar things that I did, but I always said there is no competition because some people will come to me that that resonate with me, and some people will go to somebody else, and it's okay. There's so many people in this space that need support and need love. And just some things over the weekend that I've been through, I just have realized we need more love in this world than we need judgment. And I love being able to bring people to you that I know and I can feel confident in when you work with them and you get involved with their communities, that you're going to get the support that you need. And sometimes it's hard to say, hey, yeah, I need help. I mean, I just took a call from someone last night that was referred to me, and it was actually a gentleman that's going through a divorce, and he's just like, Becky, what do I do? And I'm like, okay, calm down. You're okay. Everything's going to be okay. I know it doesn't feel that way sometimes, and especially even if you are supporting somebody through this process, just be a soft space for them to fall. And I know my guest today does such a great job in providing that community and that opportunity for people to come together and to share. So I'm really excited to tell you a little bit about Kimberly Lorah, excuse me, is a licensed professional counselor and certified divorce coach who knows firsthand what it means to have your world turned upside down. Today, she's walked through the heartbreak of divorce, the loss of life she imagined, and the overwhelming reality of single parenthood. She also discovered a profound transformation that comes when you choose growth over fear. Turning her pain into purpose, Kimberly founded Blossom Coaching, LLC, where she now helps others navigate divorce with clarity, emotional grounding, and practical support. Whether you're in the middle of the storm or rebuilding your life afterwards, Kimberly guides you to find your voice, regain your confidence, and step forward with courage and intention. And I love that about what she does, and I love her energy and her work. So without any further ado, welcome Kimberly to the show. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you so much, Becky. I really appreciate it. I'm excited to be here.
And we match. Like you
yes.
guys, yay! I was telling you before the show, after living in Hawaii for 5 years, red used to be my color. Like I was always red as my power color, and now it's the ocean. And so I branded my Divorcing Strong as somewhere where I found a lot of peace. So I love that you came in with this color and I had this color, and there you go. So
there we go.
So yeah, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Tell everybody, as we know a little bit about you, but tell everybody kind of what the backstory is of how you got into this industry and why are you so passionate about helping people?
So I have lived through divorce and I have flourished through it, right? I didn't only survive it, but I am now thriving. But I wasn't always that way. So I got married at 25 to somebody from college. And, we had what I thought was a pretty good life. I was in school and I graduated. I have a master's in counseling. So I was trained as a therapist, right? So I'm doing my thing, and I'm married, and we have 2 kids, and we have 2 dogs, and we have 2 cats, and we're just kind of chugging along. And then our marriage fell apart after
Mm.
23 years of marriage. And in hindsight, I saw there were some pretty strong indications that things weren't going well, but I chose to ignore them, right? I was scared. I don't like uncertainty. I didn't want to disrupt, what was going on, like raising my kids and being part of a community and just playing the part, until we couldn't do it anymore.
Right.
After 23 years of marriage, we got divorced, which was interesting being a therapist because, here I am. I have all the tools. I'm helping people. I'm helping them through their own, life upheavals.
Right.
Behind the scenes, like my world is literally falling apart. Like every part of it is just.
Did you feel like you were kind of out of integrity at that point?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
just like, what do I do? Like, what am I going to do? That fear, that uncertainty, that shame, all of these crazy emotions, I was drowning in them. And I didn't want to, my mom and my family, they were not non-judgmental. They had very strong opinions about
Mm.
what was happening. They didn't like the way that their daughter sister was being treated, right? So
Mhm.
they were not objective. I didn't want to burden my friends, so I didn't want to always be Debbie Downer, like, oh, I'm in crisis again. I had a lawyer that I really trusted, but she was super duper expensive per hour, so I didn't feel like I could talk to her. So I
Mhm.
really felt like there was nobody to turn to. And
Right.
so once I started getting on my feet, I started, coming back into reality. And I said, well, I want to help people going through this. I want to be the person that I didn't feel like I had when I was going through my divorce. I realized that there was that gap. I didn't really need a therapist. I didn't want to, like all the things I just said. I didn't want to burden my friends. I needed that specialized guidance. And I became aware of the profession of a certified divorce coach. So
Right.
that is what I pursued. I became certified. I've taken, I have lots of certifications now, and I turned like we said in my intro, my pain into purpose. And now I help other people navigate the pain of their divorce so
Yeah.
that they could find their strength again and really live an empowered life that they deserve. It's that guidance.
Yeah, it's we talk about this a lot on the show and I mean, obviously divorcing strong, right? It's like,
Mhm.
how can you come through this a better person? And I appreciate that, not everybody that goes through a divorce gets called to this work. However, I had a very similar thing when I was going through it. I'm like, there's got to be a better way, and there's got to be some resources out there. I mean, what would you, when people come to you for that support, let's talk about that. Actually, what kind of support do you offer at this point?
I meet with people where they are, and it could be people who are trying to decide if they should get divorced, people that are in a divorce, sometimes people that are way after the papers have been signed. I work with people individually, but again, it's that community,
Mhm.
that being with people that understand in a non-judgmental, safe place. So what I love doing is running divorce support and recovery groups,
Mm.
and starting from really, who is your authentic self? Because we get lost, especially
Yeah.
women. We really get lost in being a mother, being a wife, being whoever we are in relation to other people. And it's important when those roles start to really change. Okay, I'm not a wife. I'm not part of a couple. I'm not a partner. Who am I? Going back to your authentic self, like your values, your truths, your authenticity. So we kind of start with that, like, who are you and who do you want to be? And then we
Right.
build everything from there. We have to rediscover our voices and redefine our identities. And that's the exciting part.
What do you think is probably one of the most challenging things that your clients or the people that you work with go through when they're going through this process?
Oh boy, there's a lot, but I think what keeps a lot of people stuck is, and me too, was fear, that uncertainty. Will I be okay? Will my kids be okay? The what ifs,
Mhm.
what ifs, what ifs, and all of those fears that we feel. Because really uncertainty is what creates anxiety, and that
Mhm.
is uncomfortable.
And so what do you do with them in that process, or tell us a little bit more about your process of how do you get them from that place of fear into faith or into hope so that they can move forward?
Yeah, it's really important to integrate and to really look at your mindset and to integrate, okay, am I thinking with my head? Am I thinking with my heart?
Yeah.
And what is authentic with my best self? So, a lot of times our minds create these worst case scenarios,
Yeah.
and our hearts, which really are feelings, when we have such strong feelings and emotions, that makes it really hard to go back and make good decisions. But if everything is integrated and based on what feels true to me, what feels right to me, what feels best to me, how can I best, go to sleep at night, put my head on the pillow. And that's really hard to do, but with practice, it really helps. Like, how can I be, the best version of me?
That's the thing. I think people forget who they are entering a divorce because they're in such survival mode.
Mhm.
I was having a conversation with a friend of my husband and I's last night, and he was just like, Becky, I mean, I didn't know what side was up and what side was down. I didn't know who I could reach out to, who I could trust, who I could not trust. Who could I afford? And you actually brought up something that was important, is that there's a lot of emotional stuff that goes on, and divorce attorneys are very expensive. And we talk about this a lot on this, is going to an attorney to help with something that they're not specialized in. However, you need the support and the help. And then you have family members who are not objective. You know what I mean? They're
Mhm.
like, they're
Right.
going they're going to sigh on your side and then tell you stuff that you want to hear, not necessarily what you need to hear.
Right. Right.
And so I love that you have a community that people can tap into. Is that something that you do virtually? Okay,
Yes, I work virtually. I'm physically located in New Jersey at the New Jersey Shore,
nice.
but I do work virtually. And yeah, like, if you it's really hard because when you're going through a divorce, you are expected to make these really big decisions, right? You
Mhm.
have to, you're talking about financial issues, where you're going to live, how you're going to share your children, right? These are really big, scary decisions. And you're supposed to make these decisions when you are emotionally,
Charged.
right, emotionally charged. Um, it's a really bad combination. So that's one of the main things that we do too is, I work with people to deal with their emotions so they can make better decisions. And sometimes that even is like pre-gaming before you talk to a lawyer, which is also very cost effective. So, I talk to people, what do you need? What do you want? What are your needs, your wants, your wishes? What questions do you have for your attorney? What's really important to you? What can you let go of, so that when you do talk to your attorney for whatever, $500 an hour or whatever,
Right.
you're in a more grounded place. Right. And you're prepared.
Yeah. So, one of the things I know that you talk a lot about is, and that you share on your site, is about the nervous system overload, because we're kind of talking about that.
Yeah.
Like, what are the biggest signs that someone's in survival mode? And what are the first tools that you kind of help teach them to regulate that and be more clear so that they can make those decisions?
Right. So, yeah. So, when I was going through my divorce, and I speak about this often, one of my biggest things was my hair started falling out. Like,
Ugh.
I'd be in the shower and, washing my hair, and I'd have clumps of hair. Like, it was just falling
Mhm.
out. So our body really does, get negatively impacted by by stress. So if you're not sleeping, if you're eating too little, if you're eating too much, if you are totally anxious, if you're having panic attacks, if you wake up with dread, if you're crying all the time. And it's really important for people to know that divorce is the second most stressful life event that people are going through. So it is going to come with emotions, and it is going to come with, nervous system deregulation. I don't know if I said that right, but yes, your nervous system is going to
be shot.
It's going to be shot. So, some of the things we talk about a lot is like self-care. So mindset, challenging some of your catastrophizing thoughts, breathing exercises, journaling. We go through like, who is there to support you? Who can you trust? What makes you feel good? Is it taking a walk? Is it journaling? Is it, how to know how to feel when you start feeling yourself getting revved up? What is it? Because things like anger, anxiety, grief, they are all trying to tell you something. So your emotions are really trying to tell you that something's wrong. So if you get angry, let's figure out, what is that anger coming from? Is it fear? Is it grief? Is it that somebody's pushing your boundaries? Is it like, what is it? And when you really strip it down, then does it still suck? Yeah, probably, right? So these feelings are justified and valid.
Being willing to do the work.
Yeah.
I think being willing to evaluate, to be willing to be conscious of what you're feeling, what you're not feeling. And we talked about this actually yesterday on a podcast about detached observation. Keeping ourselves kind of detached from it as much as possible, and just look at, that's really interesting that I felt this way. And do you ever find when you're working with clients, like, music has been such an important part for me too. When I was, people know that I was in Hawaii during this very tumultuous, case that I had. So I spent a lot of time in the ocean, a lot of time on the beach, a lot of times with music. And I'm actually using AI right now to create divorce songs to help bring people peace during that, and to keep them going. And I sent a couple of them out to a client of mine, or someone that's going through a divorce, and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm crying, So I love that you bring up all the different things, and you've got to know what works for you, your self-care, right? What do you find that's probably when you're able to shift somebody from not taking care of themselves to taking care of themselves, what's the benefits that you see?
I think it is, really being back in touch with yourself, and kind of being able to block out all of that noise and just find that peace, because we're it's so important to be able to, again, get that identity back, get back in touch with who you really are, so that you could grow from that place, and being non-judgmental, giving yourself, I speak all the time to my clients about that grace in that space. Absolutely. So giving yourself permission to be sad, permission to be angry, working through it instead of trying to push it down, or acting out in a way that might get you in more trouble than just sitting with your anger or your rage. Just being able to, just to make decisions better, to just have that calm and that peace that you're really looking for, right? So I think all of us are looking for a sense of calm, a sense of peace, a sense of certainty, feeling grounded. And I think when you go back into yourself, that is more likely to happen.
So what do you say to the person? I remember in my first divorce, I was just learning this real concept of self-care, and it was thrown back at my face that you're being selfish, Becky. So what would you say to somebody that was feeling like, well, I can't take care of myself because that's selfish, or maybe they're being told by a spouse or someone that, hey, you're being selfish. What would you say to that?
Well, I would say you're not. Like, self-care is not selfish. Self-care is essential for survival. And if you're not taking care of yourself, you can't expect to be able to take care of anyone or anything else. And I would really, invite people to look at the reason that they might be called selfish, right?
Yeah.
Because we're in a dynamic. So, if does your spouse want you to be selfless because they're taking advantage of you?
Mhm.
Is it that they're jealous? Like, what is so threatening about self-care to that person? It doesn't even really matter what it is, but it's the old, I don't like using this analogy, but it's the old oxygen mask, right? You need to
Yep.
take care of yourself if you're going to take care of anybody else, and be your best version of yourself to present yourself to the world in whatever capacity. If you're a mother, if you're a career person, if you're a spouse, a daughter, whoever you are, you need to you deserve it, right? That there's nothing else really that matters except you deserve to take care of yourself.
I know, that's honestly, Kimberly, that's what I say all the time when I'm a guest on other people's show, and they always kind of say, what's your last like thing to tell people? And what I've learned through my own personal experience through 2 divorces and now happily married is that I do matter. My opinions,
Yeah.
my feelings, my emotions, all of it matter. I was just having a conversation again this morning with somebody saying, look, I was in 2 marriages that I didn't feel like I could really express fully my voice. And over the years, I've learned that self-care and building that muscle of I do matter to the world. I matter to people in my life. I matter to me. I matter to God.
Yeah.
Like it's okay for me to say, hey, that doesn't work for me, or that does work for me. And that's building my own personal muscle. And there's a book out there that I read many years ago. It's called How to Say No Without Falling to Pieces. And I'm sorry, How to Say No Without Feeling Guilty. That's what it is. And I'm like, what is wrong with, we really have a hard time, and you can still say no with a gentleness and a firmness. You don't have to be rude and mean, but this
Or
is,
you can. I mean, you can. These are your boundaries,
yeah.
so you can. Like, if
So what's the challenge that you find? Because this is an interesting question, because when I teach about boundaries, it's like people want more and more and more, right? Like, when you teach people about boundaries, what do you find is their kind of their hardest part in holding those boundaries, setting them and then holding them?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things is, having people realize that boundaries are for you. They're not really for the other person. They're to protect yourself from whatever, another person, too many responsibilities. And it is okay to say no. There's a difference between being kind and being nice. When you're nice, and that is more for other people, right? So you want people to perceive you as being nice. You don't want to upset people. You are looking for other people's approval. And that's not really good, because that is like boundaries out the window. But if you're kind, you can still, you're kind from a place
Yeah.
that still protects you. And it's an inherent standalone, right? So you could be kind and still say no. If you're nice, it's a little bit different, because people are expecting you, or you're expecting to always be agreeable and to put your own needs on the back burner. I think that's one of the biggest differences between nice and kind. When you're nice, you're looking through the lens of how other people perceive you, but you could kindly say no and still have that boundary and still protect yourself. And it's okay to disappoint people. It's okay to say no. It's okay to put yourself first. And I think as women, that's really hard for us to
It is. It
understand.
is. I remember when I was going through my first divorce, and this is another interesting story, but I was a property manager over 600, 700 students. And every time they'd bring their problems to me, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'll fix it. I'll do all this stuff for you. And, and next thing I know, I'm like super overwhelmed with everybody's problems.
Yeah.
And when I was going through self-development and kind of coming to my real self and really developing a lot of things, it was so hard for me to put the boundary, like, Well, they'd come to me and be like, Becky, I can't move out that day. I'm in a totally different state. And I'm like, well, here's what happens if you don't move out. And I know you can handle it. Let me know when you get it handled. And the next thing I know, they show up on move out day and they're like, I drove all night. I didn't get any sleep. And I'm like, but you handled it.
Yeah.
And so it's actually giving people, when we have boundaries, it's actually allowing them to be their best self too.
Yeah.
They're not, it really is a beautiful process, but man, it was so hard for me the first couple times.
Because I think you were trying to be nice, right? You're trying to be nice. You're trying to fix everything. You're trying to play nice, be nice, make everything nice. But you kindly said, okay, you're going to have to figure it out. I have faith in you. You could figure it out. And that's your boundary without being unkind.
Well, and it was so powerful, that word handled. Like, I know you can handle it, and let me know when you get it handled. It was like, wow, like you came to me to fix your problem and I'm turning it right back to you and handing it you going, I know you're capable. Like, and that was a really big exercise for me. And I still struggle with that. And I think women in general, we want to be the caretakers and want to take care of everyone. And kind of on that same note, I really wanted to ask you too about how you handled and how you help people handle this responsibility of being a single mom now and caring for your children and co-parenting. Because that is a huge thing that people have a lot of questions, and everybody has a different little technique on how to help people. But how did you handle that, and how do you support other people in it?
That's a really hard one, because we're so vulnerable when it involves our kids, right? So getting divorced is hard enough, but then the worry that we have about our kids, it's really overwhelming. And I think if you, first of all, I don't even know what order. I think it's taking care of yourself is first, right? Yes, so 100%. When you are not overstressed, overtired, and if you're a single parent, even if you're a parent with a partner, you're going to be tired, you're going to be overwhelmed, you're going to be, it's difficult. But when you take care of yourself, you have more of that fortitude to then make better decisions, to have that energy, to be able to ask for help. I think that's really important. And putting your kids' needs first, like above any anger that you might have towards your co-parent. Ideally, if both parents are on board for the best interest of your kids, that's ideal, and you'll be able to talk and communicate. But I always suggest that if there is conflict, the less engagement you have with the co-parent. If that means, no phone calls, texts only in emergencies, and do everything via email.
I agree.
Working with, there's so many parenting apps out there, and really putting the needs of your children first.
Yeah. I think one thing that just came to my mind too is a possibility is reach out and ask for help. Because I think sometimes we think that we can do it all ourselves, and then we end up bearing all of that guilt. And I think there's a lot of people that feel like we're alone.
Yeah.
Nobody will understand really what I'm going through. And I don't even know how to begin to tell people the whole story. Like but being willing to help. I remember right after my first divorce, I was doing I was doing a video for Oprah. I was doing a Oprah tryout, whatever, being a host for one of her shows. And I had 3 women show up to the park with me with this photographer. And it was kind of the first time that I'm like, hey, you guys want to come support me and stuff? Do you know what they were doing? Because it took me 4.5 hours to do 12 lines. I finally, the videographer's like, Becky, just take it one line at a time. But I looked over at one point and all 3 of my girlfriends were kneeling in a circle on the grass praying for me. And I remember the feeling that I had that day, because I had never been one of those people that ever asked anybody for help. I mean, I have no problem now. Okay. But it's taken 16 years. But at that time, I was so touched that when I asked for help and support, they were there to support me and love me through it. And I just thought that's something I I think is another valuable thing. It's like, hey, can you take my kids tonight? I
Mhm.
need a little bit of time. Or, hey, can you help support me in this group that I'm going to? Can you come with me? Or
Mhm.
whatever it is. I think that is another. It stretches. It's especially if you've been in a relationship where you haven't been used. You've carried the weight of it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
And getting past that, like whatever it is, shame, embarrassment, pride,
right.
getting past that. And I think in our culture, women are really expected to do it all, have it all, be all for everybody else, right? And one of the things that I say to my clients is you can't be everything to everybody all the time.
Right.
And I think that that's really important, because that just leads to even more burnout and overwhelm. You're already dealing with burnout and overwhelm, so asking for help is really a strength rather than a weakness.
Absolutely. And I love that you tell us a little bit more about the community, that if they want to get involved in your community, because I think that is probably one of the most important things, is to know that you are not alone. And the way that you get that support is to tie into communities of people that are going through very similar things
Mhm.
and going, look, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
You are definitely not alone.
Yeah, so the slogan of my divorce support groups is it's a safe place to share, heal, and grow. And my focus is not on gripe sessions or trying to outdo each other with like horror stories. It really is a place to share, heal, and grow, with you know people that really understand, that are non-judgmental, that do understand what you're going through. And it's a focus on healing and recovering and looking forward. So with optimism. So like I said earlier, I meet people where they are, and it's forward focused. It's solution focused. It's this is where you are now. Where do you want to go? How do you get there? What obstacles are in the way? So probably things like emotions, overwhelm, uncertainty,
Yeah.
you know, maybe not having that focus to where you want to be. And, sometimes I speak a lot of this, like sometimes your goal might be to get your kids on the school bus, right?
Mhm.
And or to get up and make yourself coffee. Or it might be, I have a client now who's starting her own business. After many years of being a stay-at-home mom, she's now starting her own business.
I
So
love
really
that.
like seeing, yes, it's the best part of my job ever. Seeing that people, hearing their voices come back,
Yeah.
seeing their
I know.
their glow again, seeing that optimism, seeing that hope. Because when you're getting divorced, it's so scary that it's sometimes you feel hopeless. But it's
That is
but
one of my
look,
missions of
mhm,
this podcast, is really to bring hope. There is life after divorce.
yeah.
And what's beautiful, if you can shift the way that you're looking at it, and like you said, go forward thinking, you'd be like, the whole world's your oyster. What do you want to do? Like, start your own business, go work at a job that you've never been, or discover a new talent or ability or arts or whatever. And it's like, and I remember the thing that got me through the first divorce was, I get to do this again. I get to fall in love again. Like,
Mhm.
I really get to do it the way I want to do it. And I get to explore this new person that I'm becoming, um,
Mhm.
and always changing. And it's just,
Yeah.
I get to love and have grace for this beautiful woman
Yeah.
that's emerging out of this divorce.
And falling in love with yourself, right?
Yeah,
And really admiring yourself and being proud of yourself, in awe of yourself. I can do hard things, right? That's an important, like
100%.
it's hard, but you could do hard things. Is it great? No. Will you have, times where you cry or want to punch a wall? Yes, but
Yeah,
you could do hard things with support makes it even easier.
I know. And that's probably why you called your coaching business Bloom, right?
Blossom. Yep.
Blossom. Sorry,
Yep.
Blossom.
Same thing, but yep, it's
Yeah.
blossom. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
going to show, before we finish up, real quick. I'm just going to show people your website. You can go to, um, it's KimberlyLorahCoaching.com. It's down at the very bottom, and they can sign up for their what does it say? The first call. I can't see it because
First
it's
call is always free. So I do offer Zoom, so we get to see each other, complimentary consultation. So,
I
yep.
love it. I love that you offer it so that people can to reach. I say the same thing too. Look, I call me, at least get on the phone with me. I can be a lifeline. And that's what I love about people in this industry too, is that we all want to provide that lifeline and have questions, whether it's just a one call or if you want to continue working with us. I love that. So here's
it. We really get it.
I know we get it. And it really matters. I mean, there are some people in this industry that have never been through a divorce. However, most of the people doing this is because we feel like it's a calling. We feel like we can give back in this kind of a way. So I love that you do that. And thank you so much for what you do. Here's my last question.
Okay.
She's like, I'm ready. So what does divorcing strong mean to you?
Divorcing strong. I think it's going back to, you're going to be okay, because it's that inner strength that you have. So you're going to be okay. It might be hard. It might be difficult, but you are strong enough to figure it out, right? Like you gave the story before about, I have faith in you that you're going to figure it out. It's finding that strength to get through it. And, I say a lot of times, it's another one of my favorite things, is that your marriage may have ended, but your life is not over. So carrying that divorcing strong, being strong, and realizing like there is light at the end of the tunnel. And it might be just a little peak of light, but that will be your North Star. And like, having that light burn stronger. That's what our goal is.
Oh, well, that is an amazing way of describing it, because it is the whole intention is just because you may feel weak right now.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you don't have an opportunity right in front of you to make choices, get the support you need around you, educate yourself so that you can come through this and blossom, right? Yeah. Blossom into a very strong individual, because some of the strongest people I know have been divorced.
Yeah.
And I don't think we utilize them enough in our society. We don't give them enough credit for what they've been through. Like you said, it's one of the most difficult things that we do in our lives. And both you and I are a testament that, hey, you can come through a lot stronger. So thank you.
And finding those people to walk the path with you, or sit in the park and pray as you're trying to make your videos, like finding the people to hold your hand, their shoulders to cry on, walking beside you. That's the support that I think also increases that strength, because it's hard to go through it alone, and you don't have to go through it alone.
110%, girlfriend. I love that you're in this space and I get to call you my friend, because I love your energy. I love your safety that you create for people in your communities. And please, if you know someone that is going through a divorce, or you yourself are, please reach out to Kimberly and get a free consultation, and call and get on the phone with her and see if it's the right fit for you. Because I just truly it makes all the difference to have the right people on your team. So, so thank you for coming, and thank you guys for being with us for another episode of the Divorcing Strong podcast. I've been your host, Becky Sampson, with Kimberly Lorah, and we will see you next time.
Thank you, Becky.
Thanks for listening to the Divorcing Strong podcast. This episode is sponsored by Only Subpoenas, where we make subpoenas simple, powerful, and 100% compliant. If you're having a hard time getting the information you need to settle for a fair and equitable divorce, let us help you. Whether you're an attorney or you're navigating divorce on your own, subpoenas can uncover the truth, secure the evidence you need, and level the playing field. To see how we can help, book an appointment by visiting our website at onlysubpoenas.com.